We're familiar in this country with the debate about renewable energy and how the push for more wind generation has increased cost and jeopardised energy security. Just last week we learned the Australian energy regulator is taking 4 wind farm operators to court over the chaotic and expensive statewide blackout in South Australia almost 3 years ago. That shambles was only possible because of the state's headlong rush into renewables, the closure of most of its baseload generation and its reliance, therefore, on an interconnector to Victoria. But this, of course, is a global issue. You've probably seen some coverage in recent weeks about how well Britain's push into renewable power is going. Green left as ever, the media loves to talk up this stuff. Headlines have boasted that the UK hit record levels of wind generation last year, more than 17%, so similar to Australia's. But last month they also boasted that combined with nuclear, the emissions-free generation in the UK made up more than half of all power. Terrific. That's a good argument for nuclear. Because this was good news for renewables, it even got a bit of media attention here in Australia. And then just last Friday, look at this tweet from Renewables UK, boasting that on that day, it looked like wind would be providing about half of Britain's power. Talk about pride before you fall. On that same very day, just 3 days ago, that they were boasting about the wind energy surge, Britain was hit by its worst blackout in a decade or more.
The last thing anyone wants on a Friday afternoon in peak holiday time are travel delays. Widespread power cuts across England and Wales around 5 p.m. yesterday caused chaos across the transport system. A free-for-all on the roads as traffic lights went down and trains stopped mid-journey when rail signals failed too. Even staff seemed to be in the dark about what was happening.
Have we got an update as to getting the problems resolved on these trains?
And yes, the details have begun to emerge, and the regulators in the UK are saying they lost 2 sources of generation, a gas-fired plant and a large offshore wind farm at Hornsea. This triggered a cascading effect, cutting power to large parts of the country over widespread areas, shutting down airports and train lines. And wouldn't you know it, there's hardly been a whisper about the blackouts in our media in Australia. Of course, it's bad news for renewables. Investigations are continuing, of course. Authorities and activists are desperately telling us this was not caused by the reliance on wind and that it's an extremely rare event. We'll wait and see. But it all sounds so familiar, doesn't it? The salient question is, how rare will such events be in the future?